Welcome to our fantasy football show on Wednesday nights. If you're watching on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, go to YouTube for sure and give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and you can sign up for Prize Picks there. We have a link in the description to sign up for Prize Picks. That'll get you a free $100 or deposit match up to $100. And we will be giving our picks for Prize Picks at the end of the show. To start the show, we will be talking about fantasy football rankings and answering your questions throughout. And we might as well jump straight into quarterbacks. Obviously, we have 6 teams off this week. So I think following rankings and reading up on the streamer stuff, stardom, sit-em stuff on FlurrySports is going to be as important as ever. But for quarterbacks, it's pretty straightforward, I think. At the very top, we got Josh Allen 1 at the Jets. Jalen Hurts 2 tomorrow night at the Texans. Patrick Mahomes 3 versus the Titans. Then I go Kyler Murray 4 versus the Seahawks and Justin Herbert 5 at the Falcons. Trevor, what do you think of those 5 quarterbacks?
I'm really interested out of all these guys in the top 5, mostly in Kyler Murray. He's been pretty underwhelming this season. So has the rest of the Arizona offense, but they look better with Hopkins. And against Seattle, they should be able to kind of not do what they want, but the running game should definitely be open. He should be able to use his legs outside of that. So he should be able to pick up a lot of rushing yards to give him a really stable floor, but whether he can hit that boom level remains to be seen.
Is Cliff Kingsbury going to do like something weird with his team and quarterbacks and shit now that he's on Hard Knocks?
He might try to pretend to be a competent coach and like put in a game plan and stuff. That might be.
That kind of makes me like the Cardinals a little bit now. Like not the team, but players in fantasy football.
Yeah, they should be good the rest of the way. Like I think DeAndre Hopkins is massive. They didn't look that terrible against the Seahawks last time, and now the Seahawks have to key against DeAndre Hopkins. It's a very different thing than keying against Robbie Anderson. So I think that opens everybody else up. Seattle plays that soft zone. Rondell Moore is going to eat underneath. Again, you just talked about the running game. Maybe I should be more hesitant about it, but I think James Conner's probably back this week, even though it seems like he's been on the edge of returning for a couple months at this point. But if he plays, like, he should be able to fall forward for 4 yards per carry against the Seahawks team, I feel like.
I agree.
Other quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, obviously Bengals lost last week. Joe Burrow plays the Panthers this week. I have him at 7. It feels like one of those big bounce back weeks for Cincinnati. Like they should be able to kill a team like Carolina. And then there's going to be people who are saying, "Oh, the Cincinnati Bengals are fixed." So
I agree.
That's what I think there.
I think it's a start your Bengals week kind of week.
I think that like there's very few quarterbacks I feel like I hate this week. Like I think Aaron Rodgers going to Detroit, I like that. I think this is a confidence building matchup, obviously. Detroit just fired their D-backs coach, and like Packers should be able to run all day, which means they're going to pass all day. Because like if the run's there, then you can get it whenever. Then obviously they're going to get a lead, and then they're going to throw the balls to try to develop some sort of chemistry and improve the confidence of their young guys. So this should be, I mean, that could be a super high scoring matchup. And obviously all 3 of us are going to be there in Detroit. If anyone else is also going to be there, let us know. But yeah, like Rodgers, I don't hate Jared Goff. I have him at 16. And I think anyone above him, I like as well. I think Jared Goff is the cutoff because I am never going to start Derek Carr with confidence. Heineke, Stafford against the Bucks, Dalton, PJ Walker. Like I don't really like any of those guys, but in terms of the top 16, I feel good about it. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I guess just to speak on on Jared Goff a little bit, like of course, TJ Hawkinson leaving is a sound for alarm if you're confident in starting Jared Goff, because there's not a lot of people who are. Does that hurt his value season long? I mean, it's gotta, right?
Season long, absolutely. This week, it does not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Packers have been one of the best teams in the league against tight ends, and that's because no team has needed to attack the middle of the field. Like they've been able to attack the cornerbacks, and that should continue. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown could have 20 catches this game if he chose to, I feel like. So I like him. I'll just start comparing to the consensus. I think I'm pretty close to in line with a lot of these, but I have Kirk Cousins at 9, which is 2 spots higher. This is his very first game playing in Washington as a visitor. So in terms of revenge games, I think this is an actual one. So I feel like he's going to decimate Washington most likely.
And maybe it doesn't matter, but this is also a noon game, and Kirk Cousins likes to play well at noon.
Very true. Very true. I'm too higher on Mariota at 13. Too lower on Lamar Jackson at 6, Tom Brady at 14, and Andy Dalton at 20. And I'm 4 lower on Sam Ellinger at 20. That's about it. I don't think anyone's starting Sam Ellinger anyway. So, any quarterback you specifically want to talk about?
I don't know. Like Tom Brady's not a start every week anymore guy, right?
I don't think so. Like, this is certainly the matchup where he and his team would be ultra motivated against a Rams team that, knocked him out and, yada, yada. But
I feel like there's been a couple of games like that, though, that Tampa Bay is, this feels like the game where they can turn around. I don't know. Tampa Bay is just not playing good football, and it doesn't seem like they are going to play good football anytime soon.
I would say the last game where it's like a get-up game, like now let's turn it around, let's be good, was Kansas City, and he passed for 385 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, like, he at least did his part.
That's fair.
In that game. So, like, maybe I'm too low. Maybe I am too low on Tom Brady. You don't watch that team, and there hasn't been anything you saw that gives you confidence.
Not at all.
Other than you assume Tom Brady's going to turn it around.
Other than Tom Brady's previous 7 Super Bowls, whatever he's got.
I lost track.
Yeah, right.
I will say, though, like, Buccaneers didn't make any moves at the trade deadline. And I think that should be more telling than anything. Like, I think that was the biggest surprise at the deadline. Not, we aren't exactly outsiders. So it's like the Packers not making a move isn't super surprising. It was a no-brainer. So I'm sure a lot of people would call that the biggest surprise. But yeah, Buccaneers, I just assumed we're going to go and land somebody massive that no one was talking about. And it didn't happen. So
for me in quarterbacks, I'm looking at PJ Walker. I don't think you start him in any leagues, but I'm interested to see how he progresses because fantasy-wise, I mean, he's been pretty decent. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, granted, he got a lot of help from that last second, Hail Mary to DJ Moore, but 15 and 16 and a half points in 2 weeks. He could be a guy that is serviceable, especially with his matchups in the fantasy playoffs, being more than helpful to his stock. He might be one of those guys that's a fringe quarterback 2, quarterback 1 for the playoffs that people need to have their eye on.
Yeah, I think the scoring is going to be higher this week, and that's basically why I have him ranked where he is. Like, to your point, 15 and 18 the past 2 weeks, so like, that doesn't impress me, but it was quarterback 14 and 15. Like, he might score 15 points this week, but I don't think that's going to be quarterback 14. Like, I think people are actually going to score points this week, which hasn't been the case lately at all. Any other quarterbacks before we move on? Okay. So running backs here again, half PPR scoring. We have Austin Eckler, number 1 at the Falcons. It sounds like he's going to be getting 30 touches again this week. I have Derrick Henry 2 at the Chiefs, Aaron Jones 3 at the Lions, Josh Jacobs 4 at the Jags, and Alvin Kamara 5 versus the Ravens. Luke, what do you think of those 5?
I guess really interested to see Alvin Kamara, right? Maybe solely for the fact that because Ravens picked up Roquan Smith. Does that factor into it at all? I don't know, but you're right, Zach. I mean, I would venture to say Austin Eckler may even receive more than 30 touches this game if Mike Williams, and it sounds like Keenan Allen is at least not practicing right now. If those two are out, I mean, you're not giving Gerald Everett 15 receptions. You're not giving Josh Palmer 15 touches. I mean, they're all going to Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I'm interested in Kamara as well, just because I'm interested to see what the Ravens do to try to combat what he brings to the table. I mean, we know he's a target monster, kind of like Eckler, but I mean, 9, and 10 targets the last 3 weeks. I'm interested to see what the Ravens try to do. And if, the Saints fall behind or they get the lead, I mean, that doesn't change his stock. So him being 5 seems like a pretty safe bet with a possibility to do a heck of a lot more, just kind of like last week where he just exploded.
I do think I'm going to bring him down like 5 or 6 spots. I hate Alvin Kamara this week. I don't know why I have him that high. He is not a very good football player. I don't care. Like past years he has been, that's fine. He's not that good this year. I think he has close to a 0% chance to score a touchdown this week. The Ravens get 3 new linebackers this week. They get Roquan Smith, David Ajabo, and then Tyus Bowser. Good luck. Like the Ravens just got really good, I think. So if Alvin Kamara doesn't score a touchdown, he's not an RB1. So yeah. So he's probably going to go below by the end of the show. I would assume I'm going to put him below Dalvin Cook. So I'll put him at 8. I'll be nice for right now. But like I like ETN more, I like Kenneth Walker more. And Dalvin Cook is like, I don't know, take it or leave it. I just think he scores a touchdown. I just don't trust Ramondre Stevenson, I guess, which is why I'll probably put him above him. Other running backs. I think AJ Dillon, you can throw him into a flex spot this week. I think, it really wouldn't surprise me if he scores a touchdown against the Lions. So, obviously 6 teams on bye, there's a lot of running backs out. I think you can do worse than him as a flex. And then on the other side, like I like both Lions running backs. DeAndre Swift didn't really touch the ball much last week. He got 5 catches, but he only had 5 carries in his first game back from injury. I'm just assuming that changes this week. We shall see. He did not practice today, I guess, with both a shoulder and an ankle injury. If he's out, Jamal Williams is probably close to a top 5 running back for me. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, totally agree, right? Especially against the Packers, there's a lot of problems with the Packers, but maybe the most concerning is just them not stopping running backs whatsoever. Especially, a running back who can rush very well and who can receive very well and who can pass block very well and do everything that you want in a running back to do very well. I would imagine Jamal Williams is a little fired up for this game. I think we talked about it last year and year before that as well. But yeah, if DeAndre Swift doesn't play and TJ Hawkinson's not there anymore, like Zach, you said 20 receptions could go to Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I mean, do you rely on Josh Reynolds for another 20 receptions? Is there anyone other there to take something off of Amon-Ra's plate? I don't think so. And I'm almost wondering if it's going to be Amon-Ra taking stuff off of Jamal Williams' plate if DeAndre Swift doesn't play.
Yeah, it might be. The Lions are such a mess. That's what I'm most sad about that this year. I had a lot of hope, and I think they're worse than last year. Mm-hmm. They look so much better on paper. Hard Knocks duped me.
I will say
the Falcons are what I wanted the Lions to be. And it's really bumming me out.
See, that's how I was, Zach, about the Jaguars to start the year.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will say I think missing Jameson Williams has hurt them a lot too. Like,
has it?
They were close.
We don't know. He's never taken the field.
Well, yeah, of course it's hurt him. He's the fastest 40 guy ever. You need that.
But like you look at like when they blew a lead to the Vikings, when they lost by 3 to the Seahawks, when they could only score 6 points against the Cowboys, when they blew a giant lead against the Dolphins, like I have a hard time believing that Jameson Williams could have at least like prolonged the collapse a good quarter, and they could have outlasted some of their opponents.
You know what sucks too about that Vikings loss is they held like Justin Jefferson to like 6 yards and they still lost the game.
Yeah. And honestly, like The refs have screwed them out of games too, which makes it worse. Like, give them a fucking win. Let them win one. Don't like. I know the lines aren't good for the NFL. That's why they're keeping them at the bottom. But
I kind of like
come
that
on.
running gag of no, let's just not let the Lions get anything.
It's funny, but I don't like it. Trey has a question full PPR. He needs to start one player. AJ Dillon, Kyle Pitts, Devontae Smith. Worried the Eagles just run it down the Texans. Very true. I think I'd go AJ Dillon just because I think he has the best chance to score a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah. I have zero faith in Kyle Pitts. I think last week was an outlier. But every time I take a big stab on a player like that, remember how low I ranked him last week? Every time I do that, they go off. So I'll look to figure out who's the lowest person for me this week. And
Imagine drafting a tight end number 5 overall in the draft.
insane. It made no sense.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I think Gus Edwards is going to play this week. I know he's on the injury report. Some people are worried, and people are worried because he didn't have as many touches last week as they hoped. They talked. Kenyon Drake obviously got it. We said it flat out last week that I was worried on a short week. You know, he played his first game, had a big workload, had a short week. I just thought they'd dial it back. They did exactly that. So I don't think you have to worry. I think it's going to be business as usual for him this week. Okay. What are some of the backfields that got fucked around? So the Dolphins sent Chase Edmonds to the Broncos, and they got Jeff Wilson.
Yes.
Raheem Mostert's clearly the guy.
Yes.
I have him ranked 13th. I think Jeff Wilson, they're going to for sure use him. They sent a fucking private jet to go get him. I don't understand why people are so enamored by Jeff. Not people, just anyone who's ever like been around him, I guess, loves Jeff Wilson. Maybe, you know, they would know it best, but I don't understand it. I have him ranked 56. If I hear he's going to get a full workload, he'll go up, obviously. I think he's the second highest Dolphins back I have ranked, though. Yes. But like, he's going to see touches, man, in this offense.
He has to. Like the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are contending too after trading for Bradley Chubb. Like that right there shows that the Dolphins are looking to win a Super Bowl. They're going to use guys that they're trading for to win a Super Bowl.
Is Jeff Wilson an upgrade from Chase Edmonds?
Not at all.
It's such a Dolphins move. I hate it. It makes me so upset. I don't understand it.
The thing that made me most upset was how, like, Mike McDaniel was like, oh, yeah, or no, the 49ers guy said, like, oh, we're going to send him to a place that's going to treat him right. And Miami is, like, the last place that's going to treat him right. Like, if you want to keep him healthy, sure, they're great because they get 2 carries a game, but, man.
If you are a Raheem Mostert owner and are relying on him, like, you picked him up, you got lucky, he's now your RB1 or 2. Like, you have to pick up Jeff Wilson because Raheem Mostert's going to get hurt. Like, that's coming at some point, and then it's going to be Jeff Wilson and Myles Gaskin again, I guess. I'm sure someone's going to be available to pick up. Like, they're going to be able to pick up Cam Akers or something stupid like that at that point. But for now, yeah, he is a must-own as a handcuff. I think eventually in a couple of weeks or so, once he's up to, well, he's not even going to take long to get up to speed. It's the same offense. So I think he has flex upside, but that's about it.
Speaking of Cam Akers, how badly did the Rams screw that up? Like, how do you let a guy, like, stay away from the team, say we want to trade him, allegedly have trade offers for him, and then just hope he comes back?
Well, running backs have zero value because running backs aren't fucking important. So, like, literally, they probably were offered literally, especially because 1, running backs have zero value. 2, teams know that he wants out. So the value comes down even more. Quite literally, they were probably offered a 6th, a 5th or a 6th, and that doesn't matter. And you know the Rams don't value draft picks. So what Cam Akers can give you as at least a ball carrier is worth more than a 5th.
Yeah, agreed. And you know what's so fucking stupid about it too? Is Sean McVay's coming out today saying, yeah, he still might suit. You know, we might get him some carries. No, you fucking won't. Don't even say that. Like coaches need to be held accountable for shit they say to the media.
Shout out Matt LaFleur.
I think Akers. I bet we're talking about him in the top 30 before the end of the season's done.
Sure.
Like he's gonna come back. You know what's gonna happen? Henderson's gonna get hurt, and then he's gonna come back and get 20 touches a game. And people are gonna be like, "Could you believe they almost let him walk out the door?" Like, yeah, of course. As Stafford gets blindsided by fucking Nick Bosa because Akers moved out of the way. That's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be awesome. And anyone who rushed to go pick up Ronnie Rivers, by the way, as a waiver ad, just drop him.
Yeah, you don't need him.
Cut your losses. No.
Incredible football name, but you don't need him.
Yeah, screw that dude. Also, Kyron Williams or whatever, the rookie, is probably going to play this week. And I don't think he's a must-own, but I think he's going to see snaps. I don't know. Broncos don't play this week. They said Chase Edmonds is going to be the third down guy. Every fantasy person's reporting he's only competing with Latavius Murray for touches. People hate Melvin Gordon so much. Melvin Gordon's the RB1. Relax. I don't understand.
Hey, you can't say people hate Melvin Gordon and then come out and call him Chase Edmonds, okay?
What did I do?
You called him Chase Edmonds at first. I was really confused what team you're talking about.
Chase Edmonds is on the Broncos.
Wait, what? When? How did I miss this?
He was in that Bradley Chubb trade.
Oh, okay. And okay. Jesus. What?
People are saying the Broncos said he's going to be the third down role. Fantasy experts are saying he's competing with only Latavius Murray for touches. Meanwhile, Melvin Gordon's the RB1.
What is up with every team like having 5 running backs now and more teams going to it? Has it been that successful for people?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. People are using running backs a little more like they realize like you can get creative with them, but then they get all these guys with different skill sets and then aren't creative with them. So I don't know. Next one, Zach Moss is now in Indy. Jonathan Taylor didn't practice today. They traded away Nyheim Hines. I think Deion Jackson's going to be used in a receiving role, so I think you might be able to actually pick him back up. And then Zach Moss is there. So I don't.
It's Zach Moss time.
It should be. I hope it is.
Mm-hmm. We've been waiting 3 years for this.
They need to just sit Jonathan Taylor the rest of the season. Let Zach Moss be the lead back guy, and then let Deion Jackson be the third down guy. That would make the most sense, in my opinion. I don't know. Any other backfields get fucked up? I think that's it. And then Cordell Patterson's coming back this week, I think. Possibly. Watch for that. If he comes back, truly no idea about any of their running backs. Because Damian Williams also came back last week. So they're like 5 deep. And I don't like any of them other than Cordell Patterson. So comparing to the consensus, I'm 4 higher on Raheem Mostert at 13, 4 higher on AJ Dillon at 21, 18 higher on Gus Edwards at 25, 26 higher on Jeff Wilson at 56, 12 higher on Zach Moss at 59. I'm 4 lower on Singletary at 23, and then that's about it. Any other running backs to talk about?
Did you mention Ramondre Stevenson there?
I have him at not that. I have him at 9 though.
Okay. Was there anything that's more poetic than Ramondre Stevenson just kind of running all over the Jets, and even though the Jets have a better record than the Patriots, they're still chasing the Patriots all over the place?
Yeah,
time's just a flat circle.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is. Seems like for that brief moment, if you were just watching that game, everything seemed normal about this season.
Mm-hmm. If that was the only game you watched.
Exactly.
If that was the only game you watched, you'd think we were in like 2013 or something.
True. He thought Stephen Ridley's carrying the football.
Right.
No, it's Ramondre Stevenson. Yeah. Deontay Foreman, I guess I should say. He's been really good. I have him at 17. I'm not putting a lot of stock into the past 2 weeks. I think he was really impressive against the Buccaneers. I think he just did what he was supposed to against the Falcons last week. He definitely should be owned. I just don't think he's much higher than a flex.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Trevor, you think about Randy's question. We'll get to it later. Travis and 7-team league.
Love that.
Do you? I'm
Yeah.
not sure what to
I
think of it.
hate that. Because imagine you have a week where you go off on bye.
Mhm.
Although if you have a league median, that could work, I will say.
I feel like you have to. I almost want to stop the question now. Just talk about that. Would trading Joe Mixon for Jonathan Taylor be better in the long run? He has Christian McCaffrey, Kenneth Walker, David Montgomery, Diggs, Higgins, Gabriel Davis are wide receivers and flexes. So he has Mixon. Would you rather have Jonathan Taylor? I'm just really not impressed with Joe Mixon at all this year.
No.
Not that Jonathan Taylor's been good, but better in the long run. I'll go with yes. I think I like Jonathan Taylor better rest of season. I don't think it's a massive upgrade or downgrade in either direction.
Yeah, so Mixon has Carolina bye, Steelers, Titans, Chiefs, Browns, Buccaneers, New England, Buffalo, Baltimore to end the year.
Okay. I mean, Bengals should have something to play for at least.
Right.
I don't know, man. It feels like he's playing hurt.
Yeah, I think I'd rather have, I don't know, like this is really weird to say, and maybe it's wrong to say, but like these are two players that, everyone thought, could be RB1s coming in the year, and rightfully so, and everything like that. But I think I like Joe Mixon more because I think Joe Mixon has a better opportunity to score a touchdown than Jonathan Taylor.
That's fair.
And I don't think
Yeah.
we would be saying that 8 weeks ago, that we like Joe
No.
Mixon more because he can score a touchdown.
No. How about this? I would rather trade away their name value and get Miles Sanders. I think I'd rather have Miles Sanders than both of them.
I think I agree.
Like something like that. Yeah, I'm just not. I don't think they have the ceiling rest of the season that you need for a 7-team league.
Yeah.
So, like if you could go Joe Mixon and Gabriel Davis for a number 1 at running back or wide receiver, and then a number 2.
Yeah, big time. Because, I mean, CMC and KW3 is not bad 1-2 running back at all.
No. Very good.
Plus, Montgomery's not terrible either for depth.
No, I would almost, we don't have your bench. I would make sure you have Khalil Herbert, because if Montgomery gets hurt, like Herbert's already better than Montgomery for this offense anyway. So,
and Herbert still gets carries when Montgomery's healthy.
Yeah.
Is Montgomery going to turn into Jordan Howard 2.0?
Oh, don't even say that.
Montgomery's going to.
Hey, he won a Super Bowl.
Ezekiel
so.
Elliott.
I guess.
Montgomery's, and Herbert is Tony Pollard. Just traded Dobbs and Pierce for Connor and Chase. Should I feel bad? Maybe, just not about your trade though.
Yeah, I think if you're contending, you shouldn't feel bad because you'll get Chase back in time for playoffs. And if you can afford to lose Dameon Pierce, then I'm all for this trade.
Dobbs and Pierce will not become an every week reliable thing this year.
Yep.
I think that's the only thing. And if Connor somehow stays healthy, he probably will. And then Chase is a must start when he's healthy.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Did you want to answer Randy's question now, or should we talk about wide receivers?
Whenever works. I got my list, but I can wait.
Okay, let's do it. Talk about it now. Top
Uh,
5 foods.
One is pizza.
Fair.
2 is sub sandwiches.
Fair.
3, it's got to be quality because there's some really bad types, but clam chowder, like if you get it in San Francisco or Boston, it slaps.
Never had clam chowder.
4, Thanksgiving mashed potatoes and gravy because something about it on Thanksgiving just hits different, especially if
Okay.
the gravy's good.
That's
And
fair. I
5
can
because
get
of,
behind that.
5 because of just how many things you can do with it, peanut butter.
Yep. That's not a bad list.
I have no comment. I will not say anything either way. That's your list. That's your truth.
Tell them that you think it
November's
sucks.
a new
Zach.
month for me. What'd you say?
I hate the
Tell
way
me
you
you think it
talk down to
sucks.
me, but I'm used to it by now.
You know exactly what I think, and I don't need to say it. It's a new month. We are going positive. Even in the next show, Lombardi
Are
Sweep,
we?
I'm all positive.
No, we're
I
not.
am.
That'll
No,
make
we're
You
one
not.
of
guys
us.
don't need to. I'm done with the Packers. So I don't. It's a different tone coming from me for next show. I think I'm done.
Okay.
And I'm now
Like
an
it,
outsider.
like the type of done, like when your girlfriend like cheats on you for the 5th time, and like the guy finally gets the hint.
Or is it done like I'm taking a
No.
break from Facebook for a week because I don't want to see people anymore, and then you go back on in a week?
Yeah.
Sure. I don't. I think it doesn't match either. I believe.
Somewhere
I
in
just
the
have
middle.
I don't care anymore. It's like, I mean, the real thing is, it's like you're coaching somebody and they're such a fuck up, and then you stop coaching them because you don't care if they suck anymore. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Like, the Packers can suck. Bless their hearts. Don't care. Just go play in the corner. Let the Lions win this week. Give me something to cheer for. I don't care. Don't win this week and be like, oh, turning the season around, because I'm not going to get let down again. I'm not going to allow myself to do that.
Like the Packers are like the kids that play behind the bleachers at like the high school football games. Like, do whatever you want, but as long as it's away out of my point of view, I don't care.
Exactly. So instead, I'm going all in on the Wisconsin Badgers basketball team. This is our
That
year.
is
I'm not going to
such
get
a
let down.
that is such a horrible decision.
No, I need something to glue myself to. I don't care about the
Bucks.
NBA other
The
than
Milwaukee
players.
Bucks are undefeated, Zach.
What are you talking
I don't
about?
care about. I don't care about teams. And then the Minnesota Wild, who I actually like, they suck. Like, I don't. I'll cheer for
Yeah, and
players in
water's
the
wet.
NBA. I don't care about teams. I'm done with teams in the NBA. They don't mean anything to me anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, teams don't really exist in the NBA.
Yeah, like, cool. The
You
Bucks.
you should be a
won.
Nets fan. You would be the
No.
perfect fan for the Nets.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't like anybody on the Nets that much.
I think if you saw how they all started off at face and went heel, you would love the Nets.
Ye didn't start as a face. I don't think you understand what those mean.
KD was, Kyrie was.
No.
When Kyrie was in Cleveland, absolutely. When he had nobody else,
Oh, years ago before they were on the Nets?
yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Kyrie Irving, face of Boston.
yeah. Ime Udoka was a
I
face,
don't think
and then
so.
when he left
That
for
was not
Boston, it
true.
was like
That is not
bittersweet.
true.
And then he did all that crap, you know.
No. No. if you want to, no, that's not a net. Okay, whatever.
If we're being honest, Boston could probably have like 3 championships if they never signed Kyrie Irving.
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. They still had Gordon Hayward on that team.
Okay, that's fair.
He was so good. Okay, wide receivers. Quickly, Justin Jefferson 1 versus Washington. Tyreek Hill 2 at the Bears. Cooper Kupp 3 at the Bucks. Stephon Diggs 4 at the Jets. And DeAndre Hopkins 5 versus the Seahawks. Trevor, what do you think of those 5 wide receivers?
I mean, obviously, those guys are pretty much always going to be up there. I know it was a couple weeks ago, but I was still surprised how quickly Hopkins and Murray, like how
Agreed.
quickly Murray was feeding Hopkins. I thought there would be a little more of a feeling out period, but I mean, he's clearly regained the form that we knew and loved from Houston. And I mean, until we see differently, especially against Seattle, he's pretty much got to be fringe top 5 at least.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what's something that I think is interesting that nobody's talking about that I feel like someone should have brought up by now is Tyreek Hill's on pace for 2,000 yards, and nobody's talking about how that trade affected that. Like everyone said, oh, let's see what the real Patrick Mahomes is like, or let's see what the real Tyreek Hill like. They're the same exact player as when they played together.
Yeah, they're both
So
good.
right. So I don't no idea why we thought that either of them were going to be bad. But I mean, if you have a guy who's on pace for 2,000 yards in a season, it's hard to rank him outside the top 5 every single week.
Yeah, people are more focused on Tua there, whether either he's the best or you hate him and every pass goes 5 yards and the receivers do the work. But then no one's still crediting the wide receivers, really,
Mm-hmm.
to your point. Like
I
Jalen
mean,
Waddle's also doing very well.
like half of Tyreek Hill's whole career has just been coming back to underthrown balls, and he's incredibly good at it.
Yeah. And you can't fucking touch him. It sucks.
Right. Such a good football player.
He sure is. Not a great human, but he's a good football player. Alan Lazard, I think will play this week. We'll talk about him more next show. I am at 23. I'm really optimistic. I think he's going to be good.
Yep, I'm slapping a must start on Alan Lazard this week. If you're questioning if you want to start Alan Lazard or not, start him.
Yeah, like I think a touchdown's guaranteed.
Yep.
Pretty much. So, and if you score a touchdown, that's all you pretty much need to get top 30 or so. I have Dobbs at 36. I feel like I'm probably too low on him, but like because of where I have Lazard, I have to put him there, I think. But like in my opinion, Rodgers is going to feed somebody to build their confidence, and I don't think Alan Lazard needs that. So like I could see him doing that to Torre. I could see a Sammy Watkins week.
I hope they do it to Torre.
Sure. Like Christian Watson supposedly might play, and they wanted to feed him last week in prime time, so it might be that. But like someone's going to get fed, I think. I would assume. We shall see. Bum, bum, bum. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty straightforward this week. I don't know what the fuck to say.
Mm-hmm.
Comparing to the consensus, let's see if I'm any different. Oh, fucking, I'm most different on Keenan Allen because I haven't adjusted him yet. Keenan Allen got hurt worse during the bye week. He can go fuck himself. How about that? Like
either play or don't. Don't give us questionable up until Sunday, at 11:59 every single fucking week.
And why did they play him before the bye? I know it's not when he got hurt, but that still makes no sense for him to go out and get 2 targets. It's such a waste.
No, Chargers suck.
Mm-hmm.
They are just bad. They make every wrong decision always. It's unbelievable. Other than who to sign. They make good signings and trades. But
they don't do anything with them.
No, they run them into the ground. So yeah, throw away Keenan Allen. Mike Williams also not going to play. So it should be a Josh Palmer week. Josh Palmer is a good receiver. They just don't use him very well. So like if you have him, I mean, fuck. He's probably like wide receiver 30, like right around there. I don't have a ton of trust in him too. Like we said earlier, Eckler's going to catch 20 passes probably. I don't think they use Gerald Everett that much more. Like he's seeing about 50% of the snaps now that Donald Parham is there. So who do the Chargers play? They play Atlanta. They're going to run the ball. They're going to run the ball a ton, and it's going to be really short passes.
Something Keenan Allen would dominate in.
Yeah, that's why I really liked him this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay, so Devin Duvernay. Oh, Alan Lazard, I'm 39 spots higher, so fuck me. He's gonna suck, probably not. But Devin Duvernay is the wide receiver 1 with Bateman out in Baltimore. They use Duvernay in a bunch of different ways. He'll for sure touch the ball. I'm at wide receiver 30. That's 5 spots higher. I'm a lot higher on a lot of other players, and I don't really want to talk about any of them, to be completely honest. Lower. I'm 8 spots lower on Michael Pittman at 28. I hate Michael Pittman.
Yep.
Bad player, bad offense, bad quarterback. Romeo Dobbs, I'm 10 spots lower at 36. Drake London, I'm 12 spots lower at 43. He's been terrible. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I'm 6 spots lower at 45. I'm not sure where the optimism there is. I'm too low on Khalif Raymond at 55. I need to bring him up. He probably sees a bunch of targets against the Packers since he's fast.
This feels like a game where he scores too, right? I mean, just weird players score against the Packers.
I hope it's a Quintez Cephas game.
Ooh.
Is he on the active roster? I'll take
No,
that.
this is going to be like Craig Reynolds' 2 receiving touchdown game.
What's the name of the tight end? What's the guy's name? If he scores, Brock Wright. Give me all of Brock Wright. Feed Brock Wright. If that's why, if we need to cut TJ Hawkinson so Brock Wright can fly, I'm back on the Lions. I feel good about football again. That's
is the
Lions
most
season.
Lions tight end name ever.
I'm so happy. That name has grit. It's gonna be fantastic. I'm also 8 spots lower on Elijah Moore at 69. Why is he still on the Jets?
He's not involved.
No, he was he sat out a week because he requested a trade because he was upset that they didn't use him.
Mm-hmm.
He came back, saw 1 target, didn't catch a ball, and then they didn't trade him. What are they doing? They're holding him hostage. I think it doesn't make sense.
They need to unleash him.
They have so many pretty good wide receivers there, and they don't really use any of them.
None.
I
would absolutely love if the Packers had a receiving core of Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and Corey Davis.
Yeah, and Denzel Mims is good.
And Denzel Mims, right.
And fucking, you know who they use the most out of all of them? Braxton Berrios. And he's fine too. He's pretty good. He's a returner. Packers should have traded for him. Then they got 2 good tight ends in Uzama and Conklin. What was that?
I said Berrios scored against the Packers. Speaking of weird players scoring against the Packers. No, it was a weird reverse or something.
Yeah, it was
that's right. Yeah,
jet sweep.
Fucking Dwayne Brown ate one of our defensive linemen. He was out in open space. I do remember that. He was flying. Good for him. I'm happy he's still in the league. Any other wide receivers you want to talk about before we answer a couple questions here?
First of all, I want to say to get your faith in the Lions back, the Lions' opponents' combined record is 37-17. Aren't they supposed to get like easier schedules when they, are the worst?
But like 7 of those wins are against the Lions. Like
it's still a good record.
If you take the 7 wins and put them as losses, if the Lions were already good, then it would have been a bad record. Okay, so Troy Van Ness wants to know if you would trade Travis Etienne for Jonathan Taylor. I almost said Justin Timberlake. I almost did it again. No, I'd rather have Etienne, right?
I want Etienne on my team.
Yeah. Big Ed wants to know. Just made a huge trade and was wondering who won. Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, and Mike Evans for Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Waddle, and CeeDee Lamb. He already has Alvin Kamara. So, big trade.
Okay. So I think I'd rather have Hurts than Lamar.
Yep.
I think I'd rather have Fournette than Swift.
Yep.
Dalvin and Waddle, I don't know. And I think I'd rather have CeeDee Lamb than Mike Evans.
Yeah, so I think you won the trade.
Yep.
Especially if, you have a decent third running back too.
Yeah, like Swift, I'm nervous about. I got offered, and this pissed me off before we came on the show. In a 16-team league, my team's struggling. I have Austin Eckler. I have pretty good players. I just can't put it together. I was offered Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift for Austin Eckler. I'm like, I can't accept it.
No, you can't.
There's no chance. Like, I would love to maybe rest the season, but I need a win, and possibly neither of those two play this week.
Right. On paper, that's an awesome trade.
Yeah, it's so frustrating.
Like, if Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift play to like their full potential, that'd be incredible. Obviously, they wouldn't trade that, but I mean, that'd be an incredible trade.
Right. Yeah, it's frustrating. Would you trade Leonard Fournette for Jonathan Taylor?
No.
I think
either.
these types of trades are like sitting in that train of thought where like, oh, Justin Taylor or Jonathan Taylor. Damn it, you got me too. Jonathan
I
Taylor
know.
will get better. Like we're in week 9 now. Like
Yeah, I have no
what you
faith.
see is pretty much what you're gonna get. If this was, week 4, I think that's different, but we need to understand that Jonathan Taylor, this is his bar. It's not improving a ton.
Yeah, a lot of times when running backs are like, they always get better towards the middle and the end of the year. They get better when the year goes along. And usually it's because of the offensive line, and it's because the offense as a whole is working better. So defenses have to respect the pass and stuff. The Colts regressed at quarterback by going to
Mhm.
Ellinger. The team's quitting, apparently. Basically, like a lot of people are upset because they made that switch, and then the offensive line's bad. So,
Mhm.
and Jonathan Taylor's banged up. So there really isn't a ton of reason for optimism. Like the only optimism I have about Jonathan Taylor as a fantasy football player is because I think the Colts will fuck this up and give him too many touches the rest of the season. I think that makes him stumble into some sort of fantasy success some weeks.
Like the guy's not even scoring touchdowns right now.
He's not on the other side of the field.
He's not even getting close to scoring touchdowns.
That's kind of an article I want to write if I can make a mental note and internet note here. I want to see how many carries Jonathan Taylor has inside the other team's 35 this year. I'm guessing not very many.
In a Matt Ryan offense, I'm gonna guess, not many.
Because then a lot of the times when they do that, they pass on first down. Matt Ryan just gets absolutely
Mm-hmm.
plastered. And then
Destroyed.
guess what? They're outside of 35.
And they start trying to run up the middle on 2nd and
Yep.
22 or what. Yeah, fuck the Colts, man. Relegate them.
I agree.
They should
I
not
agree.
relegate teams based on record either. It should just be like a common sense fan vote.
Just annoying teams. Relegate them.
I'm bringing up his red zone stats right now. Let's see. Okay. He's been targeted one time in the red zone this year.
Do you think that before you go on, do you think that changes at all with Nyheim Hines gone?
No, I don't know why it would. I think Deion Jackson impressed them.
Yeah.
And Nyheim Hines requested a trade. Jonathan Taylor has ran it 15 times in the red zone this year, 4 times inside the 5-yard line. That's resulted in 1 touchdown total. So 1 red zone touchdown this year.
Yep.
That's really bad. Getting Jonathan Taylor 1 touch within the 5 every other game.
They do all these
He's
weird.
played 6, so
They do all
okay.
these weird reverses and handoff to Nyheim Hines for like 1-yard touchdowns and shit. Just run right up the middle like every other team in the NFL does.
or sign Trey Burton back and let Trey Burton
Yes.
run it again. Do something. Where's
Like
Trey Burton?
there's no reason there needs to be a double reverse for Nyheim Hines to score a 1-yard touchdown.
Well, that's like what the Bengals did when they tried to get cute at the 5, like on the prime time the other day. It's like, what are you doing? Just run it. Do
Right.
something less complex than that.
Yeah, they suck. They aren't good either. Any other wide receivers to talk about?
Is there any value? Like, are you rushing to pick up Chase Claypool at all, or anyone who moved or anything like that?
I mean,
I guess he's really the only one, huh?
Yeah, is he the only wide receiver? Really, I think so.
Yeah, the big name.
Like if you're in a deeper league, I think he's worth a look. But I think he's already owned in too many leagues as it is. So like, I just don't think he's available to pick up. If he's there and you have an empty spot, fine. I just don't think, like, what is Chase Claypool? He's a field stretcher, and I think that goes completely against the Chicago scheme right now.
Yeah. My question was like, what's the difference between Chase Claypool and the Bears and Chase Claypool and the Steelers? Probably nothing, right?
I would assume it's worse. Like
Yeah.
I don't think
If
it's
anything,
better.
yeah.
I do think possibly him getting added to the team could be good for Darnell Mooney. I think if they use Darnell Mooney in more ways than just go along. Like if you can use him in more intermediate routes while Chase Claypool takes the top off the defense, like I think that makes sense. Again, that's not. I truly think the Bears signed or traded for him so the Packers couldn't. Like I don't think
Probably.
they wanted him. I think it's, maybe it's just an ego thing, but I'm not sure. That's what it seems like. Okay, so tight ends here. I'm just assuming everyone's healthy. I have Travis Kelce 1 at the Titans or versus the Titans, Mark Andrews 2 at the Saints. And honestly, if Mark Andrews is out, I'm just gonna put Isaiah Likely at 2. I think the role is worth tight end 2.
Well, and we already saw what he did when Mark Andrews was hurt.
He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
He's very good. Dallas Goedert 3 tomorrow night at the Texans. Zach Ertz 4 versus the Seahawks. And I have to change this, but I have Kyle Pitts at 5 versus the Chargers. I was just upset because he did so well last week. But I'm probably going to put Robert Tonyan there, in all honesty. But as of now, Pitts is at 5. What do you think of those 5, Luke?
Yeah, like him. I think that who did you have it for? Zach Ertz?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm almost wondering if he. I don't know. It's the Cardinals obviously have an odd situation, right? We already talked about DeAndre Hopkins, but Zach Ertz should be involved in this game. Zach, you mentioned off the top that Seattle they like to run that soft zone, but the thing with Zach Ertz is any pass that it feels like Kyler Murray can complete to Zach Ertz to get yards, Kyler Murray can just pick up with his legs, and it feels like he'd rather do that anyways. So that's the only thing that worries me about Zach Ertz. I mean, he does see enough looks to warrant a top 5, of course, in a shitty position. But I mean, I don't know how comfortable I am saying that Zach Ertz is going to score a touchdown or anything.
I will say the Seahawks, I believe, have given up the most yards to tight ends this year.
Okay.
Whether, whatever you want to take from that, I think that's correct. But yeah, that's completely fair.
Yeah, for me, I look at Tonyan, and this just feels like a touchdown game for him. Like I feel like Lazard gets one, and I feel like Tonyan gets one. I don't know. It just feels like he'll do something against this team, and he's going to be involved. Like I don't think Christian Watson's going to play, and even if he is, he's not going to be on the field for very long. And who else do you have? It's going to be a shootout, so. I think he gets involved, and if he catches a touchdown, he's already top 5. I mean, he could do nothing else and still probably be top 5.
I agree. For whatever, I just wanted to look up some of these stats right now. Jonathan Taylor has ran the ball 56 times in a light box, so 6 people or fewer in the box this year, and he's averaged 5.1 yards per carry during that. Let's see. In 8 or more in the box, I'm gonna guess it's a lot because no one on. Did it change already? No one on the Colts obviously scares you in terms of receiving. He's been pretty good. 4.6 yards per carry in a heavy box. That just doesn't make sense to me. I need to go back and watch more Colts games, I think.
Welcome to Matt. No, save yourself the worry and don't. Like watching Matt Ryan play football is just infuriating.
It is, but whoops. 1 second. When I switched off, it combines light box and heavy box. It didn't do that. Okay, so there we go. He's averaged 2.6 yards per carry in a heavy box. 16 rush attempts for 42 yards. There we go. So yeah, a lot. Derrick Henry has seen 8 or more in the box for 70 carries this year, and he's averaged 5 yards per carry. Like it doesn't matter. That's good. That's insane. Tony Pollard, 5.7 yards per carry.
He's a hard runner.
What do you think AJ Dillon is?
1.3.
He has 32 carries for 123 yards with 8 or more, so 3.8.
Okay. Oh, not terrible.
Than I would have thought. I would like to know what his longest run is, but yeah. Really quick, what's your thoughts on the Kadarius Toney trade to the Chiefs? In my opinion, I think it's a really good reality trade.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't love it for fantasy football purposes, but it should be fun.
He's good.
Awesome.
When he's
He's
healthy.
he's electric with the ball in his hands.
Tyreek Hill-esque,
Yeah.
some may say.
And I think it's fun with Kadarius Toney too, because he's a guy who like runs backwards and keeps going backwards and try to do shit like that. Those are always fun guys to watch and cheer for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The only thing with fantasy, like he's gonna have good weeks this year, for sure. Like you just can't really predict when it's gonna come. I think.
Yeah, I mean, like how much more does he produce than MVS on a week-to-week basis? And you're not
Yeah, I don't.
nobody's starting MVS with confidence.
And everyone's just assuming like what people are saying. I don't think this is true, but what people are saying is all of his production is just going to be taken away from Mecole Hardman essentially. And I don't necessarily view that to be true. I think some will, but I don't think it's like, okay, now Mecole Hardman sees half of what he did, and that half goes. They don't play the same role.
Yeah. I think if they're looking to score touchdowns too, why would you go away from Mecole Hardman and bring in Kadarius Toney? You know.
And it's a trust thing, and it it is what it is. And then hi.
Hey.
What happens if I do this? If I start, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Never mind. Okay, so other tight ends. Evan Engram has a legitimate role and a steady role in the Jaguars, I think. Last 4 weeks, 10, 6, 7, and 6 for targets. He plays the Raiders and Chiefs before his bye, the Ravens, Lions, and Titans after his bye. He's tight end 9 for me in half PPR, and I do think you can trust him going forward. As much as you can trust, anyone from Dallas Goedert down.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I wish, and this is not about Evan Engram at all, but just about the Jaguars. I wish Calvin Ridley was playing right now because that would help Christian Kirk out so fucking much.
You would think. They're weird. I don't know. I really like Doug Peterson. I don't understand this offense.
I agree
very well. I don't think they're using. Well, I don't understand how they constructed it. Like we talked about when they first did it, they added 8 slot guys. Like, okay, that's not going to work, but that's fine. Like they should have traded somebody at the deadline.
Well, on top of that too,
That's
they
a slot.
added 8 slot guys. Like all of them were like wide receiver 3 or 4 on their team. Like
And
they
the
don't have
running
a
backs
guy.
play
They don't
solid.
have They don't have a guy to take over an offense.
No, their big outside receiver kind of is Marvin Jones and kind of is Zay Jones, and neither makes me happy or them. And Trevor Lawrence also isn't that great, so imagine that. TJ Hawkinson at the Vikings. I have him at tight end 12. I think he's going to be in somewhat limited snaps this week. I think going forward, does his value go up from the Lions to the Vikings, you think?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm not huge on that either.
I think if anything, it just stays kind of flat.
Right. I have a season-long prop bet for touchdowns for him, so I'm happy about this trade. I think it was at like 6.5 or something, and he's got 3 right now. So, like, I say that to say I think his touchdown opportunity goes up.
Yeah.
But in terms of targets and yards, like, I don't think he plays that much of a larger role than Irv Smith Jr. played.
I agree.
Yeah, he's a good run blocker, though, so I do think it helps Dalvin Cook. Val's traded Tom Brady, DeAndre Swift, and Amon-Ra and Adam Thielen for Mahomes, JT, and Amari Cooper. 7-1. What do you think?
Love that trade.
Yeah. I don't mind it.
I love that trade.
My whole thing is just about trust with the players you got, and I think I trust the players a little bit more that you got.
And I was just going to say that 7-1, I don't know how reliable Lions are in your team going into fantasy playoffs.
True. Yeah, the only one I'm bummed out about losing is Amon-Ra. And yeah, you got rid of two of them.
And I'm happy to get
Trevor,
Mahomes in this case.
Yeah,
Trevor, you agree?
I mean, initially when I saw it, I was like, well, you're losing Amon-Ra and Thielen, but clearly the team top to bottom is good enough where that means literally nothing. I'm just curious to know who proposed this trade, because if you're 7-1, it's interesting to be proposing trades. And if somebody's, I don't know, I'm just interested to hear who proposed that, because that's a pretty big trade to send or to get as a 7-1 team.
I agree.
I
I do
wonder.
think it is to their credit. I think it's a good time for those 7-1, even 2-loss teams that are like pretty good, like pretty safe to make the playoffs to start looking ahead.
And that's
And
what I
they
was going to say.
proposed it.
I was going to guess he proposed it. Obviously, I'm also wondering if he traded to some guy who could use Brady, Swift, Amon-Ra, and Thielen to get back into the playoff run.
And it looks like they're a Mahomes fan too, so that makes it even better.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, there you go. Cool. That's me. But yeah, Hawkinson, he's been getting around 4 to 5 targets per game, and I don't think that changes. Could those be more valuable targets? Sure. I don't think he's a week to week guaranteed tight end one, but he is kind of week to week obvious start. Maybe I don't.
Yeah, I agree.
I have him on a few teams, and it's gonna feel weird sitting him, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you trust him more than rest of season Mike Gesicki? Who's starting to get a little more involved?
I don't. That feels like similar, like same production. Like if I had to project it right now, that I would probably project them to finish somewhere similar.
I would trust Hawkinson a little more, just because I feel like the Vikings would try to get him involved more than the Dolphins, but I mean that's kind of just a gut feeling.
If you, I don't own Darren Waller in any league, so I can't speak from experience. If
Lucky you.
Do you have him? I was gonna ask.
No.
Oh, okay. But like, if you're sitting with Darren Waller, you obviously drafted him pretty high. Would you trade him for TJ Hawkinson? It
I
seems
would.
like Darren Waller could come back this week.
I would. I have no trust in Darren Waller.
Me neither, but I think some people still do. So I think you actually could get something for him.
If I were to trade him for Hawkinson, I need something in addition back. Because I don't think he's that much better than Hawkinson, like overall, but man, although it's week 8 and you got to worry about making the playoffs more than losing a third round pick for whatever pick value. Like when he played, he was decent. It's just he's not the guy he once was. And if you drafted him high, I mean, you probably should have known that. To be fair,
we warned you.
Yeah, I don't really like same position, equal number trades anyway. So yeah, if I somehow did do Waller for Hawkinson, I would expect something back because in that trade, like the perceived value, Darren Waller is for sure higher. I would assume. Like the only way I do equal same position trades is if there's an injury and the other person needs or I need to win right now. Like there's quite a few leagues that I proposed equal trades to the Jamar Chase owners, but then they immediately were like, "Oh, Jamar Chase could be back next week," and they didn't put him on IR, and then everyone's like, "Oh, good," and they held on to him, even though he's going to be out the amount of time that they could have just fucking put him on IR. So stupid. Yeah. So yeah, good trade vals. In conclusion.
Yeah, agreed.
Brock Wright, I have him at 2022. He might be the best tight end rest of season. We don't know. I'm hoping so. So maybe go pick him up. I don't know. I'm only half joking.
I just want to know what his nickname is.
Well, he's concussed, so fuck, he might not even play. I don't really. Why is that news coming out? Okay. The news came out 3 hours ago, and it came out from Bill Huber. So a Packers guy reported it.
Shout out, Bill.
Detroit's sneaky. Something's gonna happen on Sunday. I can't wait. Calvin Johnson might be there. Like, something's gonna happen there.
They're gonna wheel out Richard Rodgers and Jermichael Finley and try to get us not to notice.
Who do they got at another tight end? Do they have Garrett Graham?
I don't think so.
I
can't imagine
somebody
they do.
like that. I know.
Let me see.
I thought they had a tight end like that. It at least reminded me of Garrett Graham.
They have
It's not
James
good.
Mitchell. That's their only other tight end.
No, it's not. Lions Garrett Graham. Give it to me. News story 3 weeks ago. They have like 4 tight ends. Obviously, it's practice squad guys, but Garrett. Oh, did I read Garrett Gilbert and thought Garrett Graham? Shout out Garrett Gilbert, AAF MVP at quarterback. Not really, but he was fine.
Garrett Graham's on the Broncos.
No.
Oh, never mind. He's retired.
Yeah, I would assume so, but I thought the Lions brought him in. Like, he's old. That's why I was surprised.
He was on the Broncos in 2016.
Devin Funchess got cut during Hard Knocks, so maybe they bring him in to play tight end. Alex was offered Swift and Godwin for Waddle. Has Waddle. Receivers are Chase, Waddle, Olave, Swift, Ayuk, Myers, running backs mixing.
Yeah, I'm taking the trade.
Yeah, I'd prefer to get a different running back, but I guess you need running back help, so have at her. Yeah, I don't mind it. I'd probably be looking to continue package trading to upgrade running back more. Any other tight ends to talk about? Oh, I gotta compare them. Fuck me.
I mean, we don't have to, do we?
We have to. We got to do it. 4 higher on Robert Tonyan at 6. 4 higher on Hayden Hurst at 7. 14 higher on the concussed Brock Wright at 22. That might change. 4 lower on Taysom Hill at 10. 4 lower on Gerald Everett at 11. 6 lower on Jawan Johnson at 23. Watch to see if Adam Troutman plays for the Saints. If Adam Troutman plays, then Jawan Johnson's not super valuable for the Saints. Alex says the other guy is ETN and Walker as well. I can ask for either. I mean, I'd rather have both of them over
Swift.
Yeah.
You're not going to get them, though. I highly doubt it.
No, I mean, I'd rather have either one in place of Swift in this trade.
Yeah. You don't think he can get that, Trevor?
No. Although, who knows?
You don't think Alex is a good enough guy to get it?
Wow.
Alex is pretty likable. I think he can get it. Sweet talk.
I don't think he lacks
shit talking the fans. Wow.
I don't think he lacks the technical aspects of how to swindle a guy out of ETN and or Walker and Godwin for one Waddle. You know.
I bet he could.
The je ne sais quoi is there, so to speak.
Would you rather have ETN or Walker?
Probably ETN. But I think it's a toss-up.
For sure, toss-up. I think I'd rather have Walker, but yeah, it's for sure toss-up. I'd rather have both over Swift.
Oh yeah.
My aforementioned guy that the Jaguars are missing, I think that's what they're trying to make ETN into right now. The guy who can kind of take over an offense. That's what they're trying to do with ETN.
Yeah, I mean, the James Robinson trade definitely suggests that.
Yep.
Still a weird trade.
Wild.
In my mind, Carlos Hyde is still playing there as well. So maybe they pick him up and it's like nothing ever changed.
Well, they should give JaMychal Hasty the ball too.
He's
the guy for this offense. Shout out to JaMychal Hasty.
He's the guy they need. That's
Mhm.
right. They don't want him, but they deserve him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Randy, we'll get to your question in a sec. Maybe. Let's do our picks. Prize picks, we do a pick every single week. If you don't play on prize picks, you play player props, string them together into a parlay. It's the fun of betting on player props, except for you can do it in DFS states, which is good. Sign up using the link in our YouTube description for a $100 deposit match. So you can get up to $100 for free. Player picks, we've been pretty good all year long. If you string together 4 picks in a row, you can win up to 10 times your money. So if you get 100 free bucks, just put $5 on there. You can get another 50 bucks just by, picking really good picks. There's stats, there's fantasy points, and they always have promotions like they do a Taco Tuesday where it's like, Kevin Durant has to score 1 point tonight. So there's always like free spots like that. It's really easy to make money there. Except I know my pick last week did not hit because Gabriel Davis was just too busy, fucking around. I don't know.
Yeah, mine didn't hit either with Olave, but both of Luke's hit. So we are all over 500.
What did I
Which
pick? I
is
can't even remember. Brady, I
wild.
think.
Brady and Goff over their
Brady
passing
and
yards.
Goff.
Yep.
Yeah, you
What a
switched them, so they give you
crew.
both.
Luke, Brady, and Goff. I like the sound of that.
I don't.
Good.
Okay. Ready? I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it. I'm not decided.
The Packers play the Lions, and we have seen that Jair Alexander doesn't follow the best receiver, and I'm not putting that on him or anything. Like, that's just not something the Packers do. Amon-Ra's line is at 72.5 receiving yards. I think he finally comes back and has a good game. I think he's over it. I don't know how the Packers are going to stop him. I don't think their defense is good enough.
What if they do it with Hart?
Yep. Because they have the guys to do it, they say.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have the heart, but not the
heart.
I think the grit is a difference maker, And then I think once Amon-Ra starts speaking trash talk in German, it's all over.
Oh,
how do you combat
that would be wild. That'd be fucking awesome.
Language? That you can't do anything.
I disagree with the grit over heart aspect of it, but yeah, that's a fair take.
Luke, do you have a Packers-Lions one? Because we could do all 3 from that game if you...
No, I actually had the most boring pick in might be gambling history.
I love it.
I'm taking Davis Mills over 1.5 rushing yards.
Oh, I saw that. I did see that.
So
he is for sure.
Sacks don't count.
Those.
Sacks don't count for rushing yards, right? Yeah.
They do not, but kneel downs do. So if Davis Mills is kneeling it down to win the game,
I'm not worried about that. I mean, this might happen on the very first play of the game when Philadelphia runs cover 0 to start the game.
I'm telling you, Tom Brady has hit the over for me on the first drive of the game, and I was 5 yards under it by the end of the game. It's a nightmare, these props.
No, Davis Mills is never going to be in a position to kneel ever in his career. So that's not even in the same strategy.
Maybe preseason, you never know.
No.
They might kneel just to get the fuck out of there. You don't know.
Shit, I guess I forgot about before halftime.
Nah, Davis Mills is taking.
Yeah, Davis Mills ain't kneeing before halftime. They're gonna be down 24-0. Yeah, they're gonna be down 24-0 trying to score.
I agree. I'll read all 5 of my picks after, but my official pick, I think I'm gonna go with Robert Tonyan over 33.5 receiving yards.
It also feels like it could happen on one play.
Hope so. Yeah, I like that. The other ones I talked about Zach Ertz against the Seahawks. I have him over 38.5 receiving yards. I have Aaron Jones over 65.5 rushing yards, which should be an automatic lock. I just don't trust the Packers. And then I have Devin Singletary under 57.5 rushing yards. I'm not sure why it's that high. And I have Michael Pittman under 60.5 receiving yards.
My only worry with Aaron Jones, and everyone listening, tune into Lombardi Sweep after, we'll talk more in depth about this, but this is a game where the Packers can make A.J. Dillon a thing, so I think that they're going to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And they like to do the end arounds where they, toss it ahead to Aaron Jones where Matt LaFleur doesn't understand that it's not a handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he can get, cheap receiving yards when it's really a running play. But, yeah. Jake wants to know Jonathan Taylor for Keenan Allen and James Robinson. Yikes.
Do I win? Yeah. No.
I
think
think you lose.
I think I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it feels like you're going to be playing this Keenan Allen. Is he going to start? Is he not going to start game for another couple of weeks? And I mean, I don't even know what the fuck to make out of James Robinson. I'd rather have Jamar Chase. I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor than him. I'd rather have Jamar Chase and James Robinson as well.
Bold take.
True. If that's an option for you, go ahead and do that. Really quick, Randy wants to know worst restaurant food you ever had and or worst football injury you have ever seen.
I mean, the worst football injury's got to be what's his name from the Bears who got bent backwards.
Oh, Knox, Johnny Knox.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Or when Marcus Lattimore's knee exploded.
Or, when Alex Smith's leg bone came out of his body.
Yeah, I've kind of wiped that away from my memory.
Worst football injury for me, like TV ones don't do it for me. I think I saw a really. Oh no, we had a girl on her football team, and the other team was a dick, and they like grabbed her and slammed her fucking directly into the ground and like destroyed her growth plate in her shoulder and stuff.
Yikes.
That's pretty nasty. Yeah, it's cool. It was really cool of them.
That
And a couple years later, they ripped my arm out of my socket and ended my football career too. So that was really cool of them.
Did that start a fight?
Yes.
Shocker.
Yes. You guys are.
I know.
You guys are.
Don't do it in front of me.
You better have won the fight. Like your team. Like if your teammate gets rocked and then you lose the fight too, you just gotta go home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was one of those things too. It was like, I think a JV game, and it was totally like I wanted to fuck around. So like a bunch of us went to go play one quarter because we weren't going to play the full game on Friday anyways because it was going to be an easy opponent. So we were all there. So it was just like a bunch of varsity guys just beat the fucking. Yeah, those guys suck. Worst restaurant food, if it counts, Burger King hard tacos. Bad.
I like their hard tacos.
Not the ones I was very sick. Not good. Surprising, I know.
I've gotten very sick from McDonald's the last couple times I've eaten it, so probably that.
Okay.
Are we talking about like worst as in like sick or like you just don't like the taste or both,
I went both, but you do you. Is it like what, like a strawberry cheesecake for you or something?
No, for me, I will say it wasn't bad, but it was just so overhyped and overrated. Probably because I wasn't drunk. Taco John's.
Taco John's is great.
Nope. No disrespect to Taco John's in this house.
I had them once in college at Plavel, and I was like, "This is it." The potato olays were good, but like they were soggy too. And the tacos, I'm like, "This is it." Like they're
I used
not
to work
bad,
at Taco John's,
but they're just there. Like everybody was like, "Taco John's is like the cure to cancer," and it is not.
It could be.
I don't know
How many times have you guys been to Taco John's sober though? That's a question I would ask first.
I'm not sure if I've ever been there drunk.
Really?
It's at least in Eau Claire, it's always out of the way.
No, and I'll tell you why you haven't been there drunk. It's because it's too expensive.
It's classy.
It's too expensive.
100%.
Classy. I've never heard somebody say a Taco John's is classy.
I think that's just in relation to Taco Bell, right?
I mean, yeah, but I'll date night. Let's go get some potato olays. Why not? Fuck it up.
Do it. Yeah.
Oh, let me change my answer. There's a deep dish pizza place in Platteville, and deep dish pizza fucking sucks. It is soup. It is pathetic, and it is not pizza.
Yep.
And
Trevor,
any place that serves deep dish pizza can go straight to hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
At least Taco John's didn't piss me off.
Actually, Trevor, you know what? Stuffed crust deep dish is good.
But
Seems like
is
a
it
lot.
really that good though, or is it just the crust that's
Well,
enough to take it just
correct.
average?
Correct. I mean, it's nothing like thin crust bar pie,
It's fair enough. That's
but
fair
I
enough.
mean, it's better than regular deep dish.
And that comes from a little Caesar's connoisseur, so you can
Mhm.
take that straight to the bank.
You guys ever had
YouTube?
the pretzel crust that they had there?
No,
That might be the worst restaurant food I've ever had.
I
I
can't
don't.
believe it.
I want to know why you tried it first
Well,
of
I don't
all.
know. See what it's like, and like pretzels and melted cheese and tomato sauce and pepperoni is just not good together.
Yeah, it seems weird.
Yeah, it's very bad.
Yeah,
Seems like something that could have been predicted, but
Yep.
yes.
Good gimmick. YouTube wants to know, should they trade Najee Harris for Cordero Patterson?
Yep.
That's a super interesting one.
I would in a
I think so.
heartbeat. But I know that
Yeah.
the Falcons, because this is how Cordell Patterson's career goes, right? Cordell Patterson can come back and probably have 3 touchdowns, and he'll never be used anymore because the Falcons will be out of it.
That's why I'm a little apprehensive too. I can see the Falcons being stupid and giving Algier and Huntley like a ton of carries. Like I like Patterson as a player and his possibility of what he can do way better, but I can just see the Falcons just being so stupid.
You should be able to get more than Cordero
Najee.
Patterson.
Absolutely.
Like I traded DK for Cordero Patterson.
That I still think you probably could have got more, but
Okay.
I like it. Like I would still rather have Cordell Patterson than Najee. I just think you could get Cordell Patterson and maybe throw in a junk player and you upgrade that junk player a little bit.
Yep.
I think you can do that. Okay, we should probably get out of here. We're going to jump on to Lombardi sweep in 5 or so minutes to talk Green Bay Packers. And boy, it's going to be an exciting one because the Packers, as we all know, were super active at the trade deadline. But all 3 of us are going to be going to Detroit this weekend for the Packer game. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Randy, should I take Chiefs defense this week? I do think they're pretty good against the Titans. Especially if Tannehill's out.
Yep.
But yeah, rankings are linked in the YouTube description or go to FlurrySports.org. Our rankings are right there at the very top. Chiefs are pretty high though. But yeah, I'll be updating that and we will be back in a little bit. See ya.